Welcome to Pine Thicket Philosophies, the non-podcast podcast where we do everything the podcast experts tell you not to do. If you are looking for a finely polished and professional podcast crew, well folks, we ain't it. But if you want to virtually join a group of old outdoorsmen from southern Appalachia, as we sit around the fire and talk about any one of our favorite topics, we'll pour a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and enjoy. Alright, we're back. The fire is getting very warm on the front of my camera there. I'm actually kind of worried about it, but maybe it's not going to melt it. We're beginning to get a little lightning around in the distance. We know we've got some storms moving in. Tonight we're going to get some rain in the overnight hours, so hopefully we can. Ooh, wow. Okay, I'll screenshot this and I'll put that in right there. So,
oh, good.
Look,
fantastic.
Oh, that's lovely.
Just looking at the radar here.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Special weather statement.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Come on down.
We've had weather before.
We've had weather before, but I'm wondering if it's going to get bad enough we need to take these
It's looking like it's moving northeast.
canopies and stuff down.
That is something to talk about.
Yeah. All right, we can talk about that later, though. Right now, we're going to get back to the show. All right. I don't even know what we were talking about when we left.
We're talking about the epic trip.
Okay.
Once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, we went down this little creek on our little canoe trips, and we was like, we would like to take this little creek all the way to where it empties into a river. And we wanted to do this in one complete trip, but we could not do it. It was just not in the cards, and we keep trying over and over and over again to do it, and it just can't be done. We have went the entire length, but not all at one time, so we keep trying to. It goes back to the, we flooded my van thing. I mean, yeah, whenever all of us take and paddle our canoes around a full-size van that only has a foot of it left sticking out of the water, things is bad.
Yes. After, well, right there is JR's van in the water. Guys, dude, that ain't funny no more. I thought it was just like maybe in the back. Oh man.
I bet that guy up yonder is thinking, wish he'd got his boat down or get the boat now.
This has this just about sums up our trip.
There's nothing you can do. Really.
We get back to find the van like this.
No need having, or anything.
It could have been one of your finer
Oh. But we always wanted to do the epic trip, starting from, the beginning and going all the way to the end, 60 miles. But for some reason, it just can't happen. But
We've attempted 3 times, is that
three
right?
times
The first time, we lost the van.
yes.
Not just lost,
And
but
and
lost.
and to note that the van was a mile, wasn't it?
1 mile.
1 mile
From the
From the
Tennessee.
end.
from the
From
end.
the end.
And we stopped there.
The second time, we
We got flooded and Josh had to rescue.
had to come rescue
Yeah,
us.
that's the one I didn't get to go on.
Yeah. We wound up having to paddle across a soybean field. We were
Back
actually
to the county road.
paddling canoes up the center of a soybean field to get out of where we were because the water rose so fast.
Yes. And what was the other time? What happened on?
We've had to do it in segments
Was that
so
when
many
Sandy
times.
got y'all with the storm?
No, that was the van.
That was the van.
Oh,
the storm and the van was in the same trip.
And yeah, we've had storms, and we have actually, we may as well get a rating system developed, because I went on a trip and Brad asked how bad it was, and I said, on the bite me scale, it was only about a 2. Because if you take a bite me expedition scale of 1 to 10, we've had some 10s.
Yes.
I
I have laid in my hammock at night before and wondered how much my hammock straps would conduct electricity, because I was convinced that the tree I was strapped to was about to get struck by lightning, because it was bouncing all around me, and it had to get my tree next.
That was now every one of our trips, or just about every one of our trips, has a name. That one was called the Trip of Many Falls. Had nothing to do with waterfalls.
No.
It had something to do with we all fell,
At one point.
especially me. I started it. We hadn't even got the canoes in the water till I fell down in the worst possibly place, and everybody rushed to help me, and I'm like, stop!
Yeah.
Don't come
out here!
Save yourselves.
Y'all seen the cartoons where Scooby-Doo's running and that's what JR looked like, but he was on all fours and the canoe was dragging him backwards, and he was digging in the slimy rocks trying to get traction.
It was one big flat rock covered with the nastiest green algae ever was. And by the time I got out of there, my clothes were green. And I did not bring a change of clothes. Oh, it got bad to where we was at the last day. I was wearing a poncho, and that's all.
Yeah, he cooked our breakfast that morning in a poncho. Not a lovely sight. There are no videos or pictures of that.
Thank goodness. Oh, and Brad's talking about that lightning storm. That was on that trip. And
Yep, that was the same trip.
and his hammock was tied to a tree that had a no trespassing sign on it.
Well,
Well,
I guess the statute of limitations has
yeah, I
passed
guess
on that.
But yeah, we've had some fun times with hammocks. As a matter of fact, hammocks has been the center of a lot of our downfalls, without having to make it a pun. But yes,
We've all bit the dirt in
Nope.
the hammocks.
Nope,
Brad.
I have not. My day is coming.
Oh,
I'll probably
it's
fall on my
coming
head
one
and
day.
break my neck.
But I may have several in one trip. At one time, when we was waiting on the water to recede so we could start our trip, I was laying in a hammock just chilling, and everybody was standing around. And all of a sudden, the ties on my hammock just started to slowly unfurl.
We were going,
And there was nothing anybody could do. It just unwound, and there I was on the ground again. So, yeah, that's the way it is with homemade hammocks.
Let's not forget about the night that your hammock stand and everything fell on Larry.
Oh yeah, like it broke Larry's ribs.
That was the same trip where I was checking my hammock to make sure it was okay, and it come undone.
That was in the swamp, right?
I literally slammed the deck in the swamp. Everybody's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like,
Was that the one we did at that fish camp where we used the barn, the pole barn?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was it.
I had a crash at the pole barn because
And-
I hooked to the wrong rope.
yeah, Bluff Lake is where I slammed the deck.
But yeah, my ribs were black for like 2 weeks.
And I slammed the deck one morning. It was like just before daylight, and my hammock quit, and I hit the deck, and I
mean, it was a...
I wasn't hurt, so I just laid there.
It was a lot. And the thing is, always when somebody falls, I'm instantly going, "Are you okay? Are you?" Now it's pitch black, so you can't see. I don't know who fell. I usually have a pretty good idea who it was.
Yeah,
But I'm going, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he doesn't answer. He's already gone back to sleep.
I'm just laying there. I'm okay.
And so I get up and get out of my hammock, out of the bug net and everything, and I'm shining a light around, and there he is. And he looks up and goes, "I'm fine," and just lays his head back down and goes back to sleep.
You might as well take it as it comes, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, equipment failures has plagued us.
Yes.
And yeah, on the trip of many falls, my clothes, I washed them as best I could
Wearing a poncho.
in the river, and I hung them up
Hey,
under my rain fly
So they would dry.
so that they would dry. But then, in the middle of the night, when I got up to answer nature's call, when I returned to my hammock, I flipped out of it,
Backwards.
and all my clothes fell on the ground, which I did not see. And then, trying to get back in the hammock, stomped them into the mud.
Y'all, there was
So that the next morning, they were caked with red valley mud.
Is that the same trip you ended up upside down at the cabin?
No.
No.
Oh
No,
Lord, no.
Oh, that
But now let me add this, y'all. You got to visualize this. The next morning, we're sitting around the fire, and Glendon goes, who was up last night with the red light, you know?" And I was like, "I don't know, it wasn't me." I kept seeing, I was so tired and sleepy, and I kept seeing a red light, and I thought I should get up and help somebody, but I didn't really know what was going on. And JR goes, "Yeah, that was me. I fell out of my hammock, you know." And so me and Glendon walk over there, and there is a perfect indention of JR's back and the back of his head in the mud under his hammock. Just a perfect, about 2-inch indention in the mud.
because that trip, it rained
Every night.
every night.
All night long.
Like who'd have thunk it? It was raining, thunder, lightning. It was a storm every night, and it wasn't cool.
No.
It was hot.
Humid.
You could just lay there and sweaty the whole night, even when the storms was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough trip. It's fun to look back on now, but that was a rough trip. But
The trip you brought up, Larry, about upside down on the porch.
Oh,
It was before Brad ever started going.
Oh, okay, I couldn't remember
And,
where that related to the.
The bad thing was, all the guys on the trip never heard it happen. Well, we was sitting around that next morning, you know, we was all stir around, get up, and JR, of course, was already working on breakfast. One guy was just sitting there and he said, "JR, why are you so muddy and scratched up?"
yeah. I had gone to answer nature's call. And we was in a little cabin, if you could call it that. It was a
cabin.
hut,
It was a cabin in the woods.
a shack, whatever. But when I went to step off the porch in the middle of the night, I made a misstep, and my foot got hung in the steps, and I was hanging upside down on the front of this cabin, and I made all kinds of noise. But did my friends come to assist me? No. So I'm hanging upside down, and I've got to pee. So after a while, it took several minutes to right myself, and when I did, my leg didn't work right anymore. And so as I went on to take care of my business, I slid down a muddy bank, through a bunch of briars, and I was pretty well messed up. As a matter of fact, I couldn't walk properly for about a month after that. But did my friends help me? No. Whenever we stopped to get out to eat or something, you know, they would just go on and do their thing, and they'd say, "Be careful over there, you're gonna slip and fall." You know, trying to maneuver myself around with one leg. If it had been broke off and just laying on the porch, they'd have said, "Put that in the canoe over there, we'll carry it with us." You know, it's been about all the good we'd have got out of them. But all things considered, if I really did need help, they'd be there if they would wake up.
Now, this was pre-me.
Yeah.
This was pre-Brad. Was you on that trip, Josh?
With the fall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Josh is one of the sorry rascals that left him for dead.
Well, I mean, I was in one of those rooms in the cabin, and I couldn't hear him outside. It was a well-built cabin.
Except for the steps.
Except for the steps.
And the huge cracks in the wall.
Oh yeah, you could throw a cat through the wall.
There was about a foot gap between the porch deck and the first step.
Oh yeah, that's the reason my foot went down through there. I couldn't find my flashlight, so I thought, I know where I'm going. I've been here before. Oh no. But and it doesn't make a difference with these people. If I'd have cut an artery, they'd have probably put a tourniquet on it. But then they'd have made fun of the way I got blood all over everything.
What was great though is you still cook breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, now what's up with that? Here I was hanging upside down, tore the tendons in my leg, and still I fixed breakfast.
Cooked his breakfast. Well, at least Jeff was concerned enough to ask you what happened.
Yeah, everybody else like, oh, whatever. He's just muddy. What else could happen?
Oh, man. We have so many stories that we could tell. And if nothing else, we're saving these for our own memories when we get back and get old and have to look back at these memories and don't get to go do this stuff anymore. Yeah, we can listen to these and laugh.
Nobody will probably believe some of those.
Oh no.
Because they're way too outlandish. Nobody would go through that crap.
And keep coming back.
And go back
for
again.
more. But if you like what you heard here, hopefully there's going to be more in the future.
Oh, I'm getting smoked out.
Finally, you're getting smoked out?
Yeah.
I thought that was only me and Larry.
About time.
Well, they say smoke follows beauty.
Yeah.
So this is the first time it's blown in my face. Hardly ever.
Well, you are closer to the fire.
I am. I'm leaning up here by the camera. That camera's pretty warm. All right. We got about 2 minutes left. Is anybody else 3 minutes?
I don't want to go into a whole nother trip.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go around and let's take suggestions on a future Bite Me trip from each one of us. Y'all think for just a second. And while y'all are thinking, let's see.
Now we've had thoughts on trips.
Yes.
And
yes.
one, you didn't make it, and we did.
Oh,
and
yes.
That was the rough trail. We could spend a whole day talking about, the rattlesnake trip.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that trail.
In the middle of July.
I'm not sure whose
shade.
idea that was.
That was Brad Moore's that got
And we were doing
But
this,
to do it in July.
but we were doing this trip to prepare for the trip that you was wanting to do later on.
Later on in the fall.
This was a prep trip to see what it's going to be like.
Yep. And then something happened. I didn't get to go.
Oh my gosh.
And we did find out we ain't doing it.
Yeah. No, not in July. I ain't doing that.
Because it was so ungodly hot.
No
And-
shade.
And
It
the
was
only
only like
place that we
80.
stopped was full of poison oak and rattlesnakes.
It was only 82 degrees, and we were like, holy crap, we're going to die.
What
A big-
we're wanting to
big
do
4-foot
eventually
rattlesnake.
is to do a dam-to-dam trip on the Tennessee River from Nickajack Dam all the way along Lake Guntersville to the Guntersville Lake Dam. 72, 74 miles, something like that. And we've been talking about doing this trip for years and years and years. We were kind of looking at doing some trips, and they did a trip from Stevenson to Scottsboro.
Yes. Stevenson Bridge to Scottsboro.
And but they did it in the middle of July, which the water was kind of calm.
Water was calm.
Water was
The
great.
first day it was calm.
Water was great.
Yeah.
First day it was calm.
Second
Last day it was terrible.
Yes, it was
Oh, yeah,
rough.
last day.
Rounding that corner to get to the boat ramp.
Yeah,
was
we had a
nightmare.
headwind.
It was a
from-
nightmare.
from
Y'all turned
Hades.
around a couple of times. I was lucky to get.
All right, that's going to about wrap this one up. So if y'all like what you hear or just want to hear more
Craziness.
nonsense, tune in next time for, what did we decide? Pine Thicket Philosophies?
That works for now.
Works
That'll
for
do
now? PTP? All right.
TP.
We appreciate it, guys. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of Pine Thicket Philosophies. Tune in next time as we continue to live by our motto, even bad adventures make great stories.